What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of Scott Reacts. I'm your host, Scott Lewis, aka at Chair Scott, and of course, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Chair Scott. That includes Twitter/X, that includes TikTok, that includes Instagram, all the good stuff. All the links are in the description box right now to take you to all my socials. And if you are new, please press the subscribe button on this channel. This is a new channel, my personal channel, where I'll be giving all of my new content. I've got some new show ideas that's coming. This is going to be stuff that's different from what I do with 79th and Hallis, and what's different from what I do with I'm Not Gonna Hold You. But both of those shows do still live stream on this YouTube channel if you don't already subscribe to H&B Media or the Barbershop Network. So I appreciate y'all. So press subscribe, leave a comment, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff, man. I've got an announcement about a new podcast is going to be starting next week. I'm going to be dropping the Scott Lewis podcast, which will be dropping each and every Wednesday, starting next Wednesday, going on continuous. You know what I'm saying? It'll be at least one episode a week. Sometimes I might do two. Depends on how I'm feeling, but it will be starting on Wednesday, and I'm gonna try to stick to it on Wednesdays, especially when football season comes, because I'm not gonna hold you on Monday and Fridays when football season comes, man. But pretty much this is going to be these pods will be at least 30 minutes. Some will be on just one topic. Sometimes it'll be, what's going on in the sports world in the midweek. So check that out starting next Wednesday, the Scott Lewis podcast, man. So look out for that. But today I'm going to react about Mr. LeBron Raymond James. Of course, in my opinion, the second greatest player to ever pick up basketball. We couldn't have NBA all season without him trying to figure out where's he going to go. But we had just got, a notification from Shams Charania last night on ESPN, and he says that LeBron James is exercising his $52.6 million player option for the 2025-2026 season with the Los Angeles Lakers. But there's a caveat here, man. This just doesn't mean he's returning to the Lakers for maybe his last year, maybe his second to last year. I don't know. He still hasn't made up his mind. I know they caught video of him being out to dinner with his wife, Savannah. I think it was Kevin Love and a couple others. And he said that Savannah wants him to retire in like a year or two. But anyway, he's not retiring, at least not yet. I don't know if this is going to be an announcement that says this is going to be my last season, or if next year is going to be last season. Either way, he needs to get out of my life. He's been annoying me since I was 14 years old. And for those of you who don't know, I'm 36 now. I'm going to be 37 in about 4 months. So please leave. Anyway, but there's more to this. This is why not just him picking up $52.6 million is the reason I'm doing this video. The reason I'm doing this video is because of his agent, and probably the best agent in sports, Mr. Rich Paul, had this quote also in the piece. It says, Rich Paul says, "We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his career." So, I read that first, and I read the whole article. Unlike some people, I read the whole article, and it really stood out to me. Like, okay, LeBron looks like he's still weighing out his options here. Now, I don't know for sure if this means he's gonna get traded or he wants to get traded. I know some people asking, well, if he wanted to go to another team, why would he opt out? Well, number one, who's going to turn down $52.6 million for 1 year? Let's just get that straight, especially when you're 40 years old like he is, and he's going to be 41 in about 5 months. Why wouldn't you turn down? Who would turn down that money? Number two, he has a no trade clause. So if he turns that down, he doesn't have a no trade clause. And I don't look at this as a situation where he's mad at the Lakers. I don't think he's mad at the Lakers at all. I don't think he has a problem with staying with the Lakers for this upcoming season. But I do think he's weighing all his options. I think, you know what LeBron James historically likes to do? He likes to put pressure on the front office, which I have absolutely no problem with. I always feel like the front office should be held accountable way more in sports than they really are. So I'm definitely cool with that. But there was also some stuff in there in the article where he's like, we know the Lakers are trying to build for the future with Luka Doncic. And, as far as I'm concerned, Luka will sign that amazing extension that will be available to him on August 2nd. I think everybody in the world is expecting him to sign that. I think it's going to be over $350 million extension or something in that neighborhood. And you're going to dedicate your next 10 years to Luka Doncic. I know we've seen a lot of pictures and Luka's losing weight. I really hope he is. That would be awesome for them. But also the Luka losing weight pictures is actually starting to be like the new Hoodie Melo We don't know if that's going to continue through the entire season. We'll see. But for me, with LeBron, to me, it's looking like, oh, well, if I don't like how this roster looks going into this season, I don't have much longer. I've been stuck in 4 championships for 5 years now. I want to be able to get 5. I want to be able to get as close to Michael Jordan as possible, at least tie Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Magic Johnson in rings. So I know a lot of people's like, oh, well, could he go back to Cleveland? That would be good to end his career in the state that he's from, in the city that he was drafted by, in the city that he won. Maybe in my opinion, I think that's, if we ranking rings, I think that's his best ring by far. And I even think he would tell you that. But to end his career with Cleveland, I think that'd be a good story there. But the problem here is a little thing called the second apron. If you want a little bit more breakdown on what the second apron is, I have a video that I did, I think a week or two ago. I think it was last week on the second apron. So check that out if you want to know exactly what the second apron is. But the Cleveland Cavaliers made a lot of moves already. They've just traded for Lonzo Ball. And I've got another video on the Bulls coming up that I'm about to record today. It's going to be dropping this week for all you Bulls fans out there. Check that out. But they also have re-signed a couple people. They're in the second apron now. So any trade for LeBron James, I don't want to say it's impossible, because we see in the NBA, anything is possible, or just the sports, anything is possible. But it would be financially a terrible decision. Now, I do think that with the $52.6 million tag, it's going to be very hard to try to trade for LeBron James if you're somebody who wants to do that. Because if you're looking at taking on that year, and then, the amount of stuff you're going to have to give up to get him. Like, LeBron is older. He's 40 years old, but he's still, at worst, a top 5 player in this league, in my opinion. You're gonna have to give up a lot. And if you're a team that obviously wants to go to a contender, how are you gonna be able to keep the good players that's already on that team to be able to compete? So even if you want to, let's just say Cleveland, you're gonna have to give up Darius Garland. Probably gonna have to give up Evan Mobley. So what does that leave you with? Donovan Mitchell and LeBron James? It's not gonna get it done. It's just not. So I just think this is something to monitor. One thing I've learned in my time of not only being an NBA fan, but of being a notorious LeBron James hater, is that never say never. Never say never with this guy. If he wants to go somewhere, he will find a way. Other teams will find a way. To me, if I'm the Lakers to me are in a win-win situation. Either you keep LeBron and you try to go out there and get that center. I think there's going to be a lot of mid options out there, but you try to get a best of a supporting cast as possible around LeBron and Luka, and try to go for a championship again. Or you and LeBron decide to part ways. You trade LeBron and you get you a boatload of assets to build around your young superstar and Luka Doncic, and then you're looking pretty for the next 10 years. So I don't see any way that the Lakers lose here. So I don't think, if I had the gun ahead, I don't think LeBron's going anywhere. I think that the Lakers will find a way to get maybe a serviceable center. Maybe they'll go out there and get another bench piece or whatever. Maybe they'll trade Austin Reeves. I know he turned down his player option. There's different ways they can get it done. And one thing we've learned about Rob Pelinka, he finds a way. He finds a way one way or another. So I just think this is a story to monitor. It wouldn't be the offseason if LeBron James didn't give question marks. And some people say, oh, we know he's just announcing this. Everything LeBron James does is calculated. Everything Rich Paul Clutch Sports does is calculated. They don't do nothing just to do it. You don't put out a press release for, activating your playoffs, especially somewhere that you've been as long as you've been. Crazy thing that LeBron is heading into his 8th season with the Los Angeles Lakers. I didn't think it would ever be that. It's the second most tenured team. He's already surpassed the Heat by 4 years. So you don't do that if you plan on absolutely being here. So my guess, I think LeBron's going to stay, and I think that him and Luke will make another run at it. But never say never. And I do believe that this is going to be something we're going to monitor all through the rest of the season, man. But I'm your boy, Barberchair Scott. Follow me at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. All of the links are in the description box. Follow me there. Click subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, turn your notifications on. Leave a comment. Let me know am I tripping. What do y'all think? Y'all think LeBron is going to go somewhere? Leave a comment, man. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed in the very, very short time that I've been doing this channel. So let's keep this up. I'll holler at y'all next time.